you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Strong, ready to go.
Fighting in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
fight capital of the world. Is that exciting?
Yeah, it's so exciting. I mean, like, it's a dream come true, obviously. Yeah, I've been preparing for a while for this, so I'm ready to get in there.
First fight of the season, you're fighting last year's champion.
Yeah.
I guess just what are your thoughts on the matchup as a whole?
I mean, I fought so many tough people. Like, this is just like, when I heard that it was her, I was like, I knew it was going to be. So after my last fight was November 25th, I got right back to work. And I did a lot of my camp, like obviously Gibson MMA in Port Moody, but down in Arizona as well, getting ready for this and just, developing myself as a whole. And that's kind of my goal as a mixed martial artist, is to just showcase, be able to show new skills every time I get in there. And work my way to a win.
It's just true. You fought every big woman champion that there is.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in Larissa that that you feel like you haven't seen before, or is it just another matchup?
I mean, it's like respect every opponent. Obviously, she's got the knockout power we've all seen, but also like after looking over and kind of going over the film from her last fight, she kind of won that fight on her back. And so I think that just kind of like looking at her, all of her skill set. So it's not just the hands that you're worried about. It's kind of like she's good everywhere, and chipping away from it at it and knowing where my skills can really shine in those moments.
A lot of people thought you won your last fight.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel that way? And what were your emotions after that fight?
Yeah, I totally thought I won. I mean, I know I had a tough first round, but like I came back in the second and third and I thought I won. But it is what it is, you know what I mean? It's like, go back to the drawing board, get better, and make sure that you don't leave any fights that close, so that nobody can steal something from you if that's how you feel. So it's kind of like, get back to work. No one cares, work harder.
How do you get your hand raised on Friday?
Oh, by any means necessary. It's 1 minute at a time in there. Be patient and work my way to getting my hands raised and just feeling that I've been envisioning since the start of this camp. So yeah, however, I've got so much skills in the bag, so it's like I just want to go out there and showcase who I am as a mixed martial artist, and I had an amazing preparation, so it's kind of weird. I feel really peaceful about this, and just kind of like I know I put the work in, so I feel deserving of it.
Thank you.
I talked a little bit to Lance about training in Arizona. I'm curious if I could hear your opinion on what you learned there, what it was like to train there.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome sharing the mats with so many great fighters and coaches, and like wrestling with Angel Cejudo and learning from him and Santino DeFranco, Eddie Cha, adding all their kind of skill set to my game and seeing getting to understand it more. It was like, I'm already great, so now how can I be better? How can I even show more of what who I am? And they've just helped me to understand the game a little bit better, distancing a little bit better, just different techniques and stuff I could add to my arsenal and be better. So that's kind of my everyday. I was just trying to get a little bit better until I finally got here, and I'm here.
Is there a piece of advice that you feel like the biggest piece of advice that you learned from them that you're going to bring into this fight?
Yeah, I think it's what would I say the biggest piece of advice would be? It's like, be patient and let it go. Like, Santino was like, just fucking throw it. Like every time I'd get in there, because like I sometimes hold back, and so just unleashing it. I think that was kind of the whole memo that I got to carry into this fight.
And looking ahead at the rest of the girls that you could be facing next, is there somebody in particular that you're looking forward to fighting? Do you want to get a rematch back with Aspen, or are you looking for a new opponent? What's kind of the plan going forward?
I'm just willing, like I accept any challenge. So whoever it is, I'm excited about all of them though. There's a lot of, like, as I started looking through it, I'm like, there's a lot of good grapplers and good, like there's a kind of some interesting skill sets, and I always want to test myself against the best, and yeah, I'm excited. So whoever it is, but obviously I'm totally focused on Friday night and making sure that I come out on top. So that's my focus for now.
And my last one, when it comes to matchmaking, I think a lot of people are a little disappointed that you guys are fighting so soon, because we kind of want that that to be at the end. Do you feel like that, or are you happy to get, you know, a chance at her right away and then you can improve and then maybe fight her again in the finals?
Yeah, I think that, well, I think what I'm excited about is that it's 145 and I'm fighting her right off the bat. She was the champ from last year. It's like, it's kind of one of those fights that wake you up in the morning, light that fire and like get you going and kind of like dealing with that. So focusing on that right away and having that is kind of it helped kind of set my year off to just like a huge kickstart. So yeah, I'm excited for it now.
Thank you.
Really good.
Yeah.
You faced many great and experienced fighters throughout your career. What do you rank Larissa on your opponents list?
I mean, your toughest opponent's always the one right in front of you, right? So I think that she's great. I think she, like, I admire her for obviously like coming out with a victory after losing to Kayla twice. Kind of watching how she carried herself, it wasn't an easy road for her. So seeing her come out, that was something that I rank her as like, she's a champion, and to continue going when she's had to deal with some of the stuff that she's had to deal with, I think that she's a very worthy opponent.
And this is going to be your 6th pro main event. Does it being held in Las Vegas like elevate the stakes for you, or is it just another fight?
Well, I think MSG last year was like the dream place. So I think that this is like a very close second, I'd say, but I'm the main event now. So it's like, we're not the co-main. I just noticed that the fights got changed. We're the main event, and I'm ready for it. Like, I'm just so excited. Wherever it is, if it was in a backyard or in right here, I get just as excited to fight. So, yeah.
Julia, I know that you've probably thought about this fight a lot and how you feel this is going to end. Without sharing your game plan, can you maybe share are there different ways you see this fight finishing for you?
I've seen it, I've envisioned so much, obviously, but I just think it's really important to take it one step at a time, 1 minute at a time, 15 seconds at a time, and just kind of work my way to that finish, and when I see it, jump on it. That's kind of what I'm going for. So whether it's with my Muay Thai skills or my grappling or my wrestling, I'm going to jump on that when it presents itself to me.
Is there a particular fight in your history that you can point at where you say, if this Julia Budd were to show up, she's unstoppable?
Yeah, like I even think that if, my Olga Rubin fight, that was just like just the whole fight week, how it happened, it was kind of like it felt like it was like 20 years of mixed martial arts tied into those couple minutes. But even how I fought Cyborg, I think that I won that first round, and it was a really tough fight. Obviously, I didn't come out with the win there, but I mean, yeah, any of those people show up, it's coming out with my hands raised.
Going back to that Larissa fight, the Kayla fight, she got the victory.
Yeah.
But, it was a close fight. Was there anything that you were able to pick up that Kayla was able to do that you feel like maybe you can implement against Larissa?
Yeah, like I thought Kayla actually if she was more confident with her striking was actually better than hers in that fight. She was going forward, landing, and I thought that she was really good with her kickboxing there. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think that maybe because of it being a rematch and them fighting each other before, she was more cautious with her wrestling defense, so she hung back a little bit more when she fought Kayla. But yeah, there's a lot that I can pick up from that fight, for sure.
Considering what she went through last year, Larissa, would you say getting her right now is probably the best moment to get her?
Well, yeah, I think that it's funny because it's like two paths. Like she went through a bunch of wins last year. I went through 2 losses. So I was forced to go back and completely take a look at every aspect of who I am and how I want to be in this sport. And that is a dangerous person to fight, I believe, is the person that had to go back and reevaluate and sharpen all their skills. And her coming off of being the champion, having a couple of those quick wins in the beginning and then beating Kayla in the finals, I think that, yeah, I think she might be underestimating me a little bit.
Sorry.
As you enter the latter half of your career, what's more important to you, championship with PFL or the money that championship will bring with it?
I think just being, like, my goal is always the same, to be the very best mixed martial artist I can be. So having my hands raised, being the champion, that's obviously number 1 goal. And then the money is kind of like a side piece that is super, amazing. Obviously, it's very, it can be almost distracting, I think, from like what the goal actually is. Goal's got to be win this first fight, win, get as many points as possible. That's like goal number one. So I think that a lot of the time in this, and especially in PFL's like this season format, it's easy to look at the end result and kind of miss the steps that you got to take to get there. So I'm not doing that. I'm kind of like one step at a time, gonna work my way to that ending result.
Not everybody's blessed with great abs like me and you. What's the secret to getting those Julia Butt abs?
Diet and hard
First
work.
time I saw it, I was just like, my God, you see the abs before you see you.
Okay, well, yeah, diet and hard work, you know what I mean? Like dedication and just I'm very disciplined, so that's it.
Yeah, right here. I've noticed in past fights of yours that you have a fighting style that includes an unparalleled focus, especially when you're kickboxing. I've witnessed you get hard, take a second, reset, and then get back to that focus. So where does that sort of gritty focus come from? Is that part of your nature, or did you develop that?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's developing it obviously through like years of doing this for like 25 years, but also just like, that was the same thing when I was a kid, you know what I mean? Like I've always been a competitor and somebody that wants to win. So it's kind of like, I played sports with all the guys, and a lot of the time I was the only girl out there on the field, and I would make sure I had something to prove every time I got out there. So it's a little bit of both, kind of like my upbringing, and also just like years of doing this and wanting to be the best.
I read on the Gibson MMA webpage that you have a bachelor's degree in human kinetics. Did kinesiology in the world of fitness lead you to martial arts, or did martial arts lead you into a fitness pursuit?
The only way my parents would pay for my martial arts membership was if I was going to school. So I was kind of like, okay, I got to go to college, I got to get this done. And also like my passion was obviously being an athlete, so it kind of went hand in hand, but that's kind of why I ended up at school. It's like, okay, as long as I get my degree, my parents will let me keep going to Gibson MMA and pay for my membership. So I remember the conversations with my mom before that, and she's like, okay, like because it's so far away. So it was like a 2-hour commute for me to get from my university to my MMA gym. So just kind of like, yeah, those conversations, it was definitely, I wanted to be a professional fighter, but I had to do my school to get there, so.
I also pursued that in university,
Oh,
but
cool.
I switched to my third year. So,
Oh, nice.
anyways, last question. Last week I interviewed Lance Gibson Jr. and he talked about his fishing hobby. Do you ever go fishing with him, and do you have a fishing story?
Do I have a fishing story? Well, yeah, actually, I caught a coho, I think, right? A little baby coho, like a good size, but my fish is definitely a lot smaller than Lance and Lance Gibson seniors. But they go out for like 12 hours a day. It's like very serious. I'm like thinking I'm gonna tan on the front of the boat and like throw the line in and maybe catch a fish here or there, but they're like serious diehards. So I kind of let it be their thing.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Best of luck.
Given your last fight, and they're throwing you in here with last season's champion,
Yeah.
how important is it to have a short memory in MMA and also just keep the mental toughness for you?
Yeah, it's so important. I think that the mental toughness and just like basically being able to reset and refocus is obviously part of the game, because the result is like only one piece of it, you know, like all the hard work, you got to look at like all the good and all the like the process. It's really important to constantly go back to the process of getting there. So that's what I'm able to do.
You mentioned that you were often the only lady amongst the fellas playing sports growing up. And is that where you learned how to fight? Was maybe on the ice rink maybe at some point?
Yeah, maybe. It wasn't necessarily hockey. It was more so like, it was just like in soccer and baseball, everything. It was like, you know, I played hardball, and getting just like, it was scary a lot of the time, because you're with guys and getting like cracked with the hardball like right in the stomach, and getting back up because you don't want to look weak or whatever. Those kind of things were just areas in my mind that I was like, it got me angry instead of like wanting to quit. So I think definitely that's where I developed some of my toughness.
Now, would there ever be a time in your life where you would ever fall back on those college credentials, those college chops that you have?
Maybe.
Once it's all said and done,
Yeah.
after you've made $1 million and won a couple championships, of course.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think that after all is said and done, when I look at it, I'm an amazing coach and I want to bring other people, I want to help other people pursue their dreams. Yeah, I'm getting like emotional even thinking about it, but yeah, that's something that's in my heart. Help other people follow in these footsteps, and that's something that I want to do. But I'm so focused. Like, this is one time in my life where I feel like I'm like, all my focus is going towards this, and a lot of the time it was like, well, as a woman, you're like thinking, okay, is it time to have a family? Is it time to do this? And you kind of feel split amongst a lot of different decisions in your life. And this is one of the first times I'm like fully committed, all in. I'm doing this because might be my last year fighting. This might be my last fight. So it's like one step at a time. I want to do this fight and I want to go out there and give it my all. And like I said before, unleash who I am. So I'm like fully all in.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Best of luck out there.
Thank you.